This is Michael Gerace with Clearview Sewer Cams. We are at 236 Mount Washington Drive, Los Angeles, California, performing a video waistline and sewer line inspection through the 4-inch by 3-inch ABS plastic Y up underneath the house. And we're going to begin viewing, and it is October 17th, 2020. As I said, we are up underneath the house. And this is our 4-inch by 3-inch ABS plastic Y, and there's some belongings up underneath the house. There's belongings up underneath the house for storage.
Found something?
And we're going to begin running through. We're going to zero out our camera monitor right here, right at the opening of the 4-inch by 3-inch Y, and we're going to begin running through. We did take a look underneath the house, and we could see some cast iron underneath the area by the steps. Right now we're in ABS plastic. We're going to also transition to vitreous clay probably after, but right now we've got a transition right here by the laundry area to cast iron, from ABS plastic to cast iron. And the cast iron does appear to be original, probably toward the end of its life expectancy, but we'll see if it's got holes in it or if it's still functional. We can never tell exactly how long cast iron is going to last. Sometimes we end up getting 60 years out of it underground, and sometimes we'll end up getting 100 years out of it underground. Right now it doesn't look terrible. It's just rough. It's rough, and it's got some buildup in it. But otherwise, I didn't see any holes, no offsets, no root intrusions, nothing. Then we're transitioning now underneath the steps to ABS plastic. Making a turn, and we're going to locate this after. We're going to run all the way out, and then we'll locate it. And we'll find out exactly where we're at. If we're going underneath the house that is the main house in front of us that is on the street below on Mount Washington Drive, or if it goes along the side of that house. Just have some glue right there. In the turn, those joints appear to be in fair condition. Just have some debris in the line. Now we're transitioning what appears to be vitreous clay right here at 31 feet out. And we're going to mark this area on the way back. We ran a little bit of water to try and wash as much debris as we could through the line. We got a very large offset right here at 34 feet, 8 inches on the camera monitor, all the way from the 11 o'clock down to the 4 o'clock area. That pipe is shifted almost completely on the top to where you would see dirt. If it shifted any further, you would see the soil. Right now it's dropping down into it, so it's not as bad as if it was shifted the other way. Then it'd be holding back water and debris and such. But that line continues to shift. It will end up severing in time. Now, we've got some root intrusion at the bottom. Looks like in some scaling, possibly. Can't tell what kind of pipe we're into yet. We may be back into cast iron is what it appears. We'll see when we run out further. Did appear to have a short section of cast iron up underneath here. Got a lot of buildup. Got somebody running water in the house, so we're going to have to pause for a moment so we can see.
Now, if you were to fix that,
Going to pause for a moment.
sorry.
Okay, we're going to continue running out now. Got the water shut down in the house. Got some debris on the camera lens now. I'm trying to rinse that off. A lot of debris in the line. I'm trying to pull back just a tiny bit. Trying to get as much water as I can. I'm going to have to run out a little bit before I end up having to run some water. I'm going to have to run some water to clean this off. Pause for a moment. Okay, we're going to let the water drain down for a moment and then we'll continue running our camera. So right now we've transitioned back to ABS plastic. So we have cast iron pipe right here up to about 46 feet. And we've got an offset there too. You can see the face of the pipe on the ABS plastic. So we're going to continue to push in right now. Pushing through ABS plastic. Now it appears that we're transitioning back to cast iron again. 61 feet, we've got cast iron. So we've got a mixture of piping. Got cast iron and ABS, and looks like they made some repairs and don't seem to be able to push any further right here. We're going to run some water. We're going to run some water and we're going to try and see if we can get out further. Actually try and reposition our camera. So we've got some water running in the house. We're going to try and see if we can keep pushing out. Once the water starts hitting, fortunately, we've got a cast iron turn right there. Doesn't want to let us get through. It appears that we did make it. We're going to continue to go. Continue to run out. Looks like we've possibly transitioned back to ABS plastic. We're probably going to have a lot more water running to get all the way out to the front house. And that's as far as we can push right now. So we're going to pause for a moment. We're going to try and get some more water running and get our locator and locate this area as well. Okay, we located this area in the kitchen in the front unit by the street. So this, where we're at now, is in the front unit. Now we're transitioning back to cast iron, which we're underneath the house. We're underneath the front house. And it looks like we do have some debris. Looks like we do have root intrusion in the cast iron. So the cast iron is rotted all the way through. We're going to continue to push out. We're just trying to get out to the clean out at the front of the house. We're not going to be able to probably make it too much further. Now we have some more roots. We have roots coming through the cast iron again. Small roots, but nevertheless it's rotted all the way through. So we're going to continue to push out now. Should be coming up I believe not too far from here we should be coming up to the clay clean out. More roots in the clay. I believe that's pretty close to the front of the house. We'll take a look after. Got a crack right there. We're going to go locate this area. Okay, we've located the area down at the clean out in the front yard. We're only a few feet deep down there. So we're going to begin pulling our camera back. We got some roots in the clay. Making a turn, a little more roots, not a lot, but we're back into cast iron now. So that's our clean out, is right down in here, right at that point. And looks like we might have some hairline roots coming through there. The cast iron is pretty well deteriorated. We saw roots in other areas as well. It's older cast iron, and more than likely original to the house. Whenever they did put this in, there's quite a bit of roots coming through, and that is cast iron, and it's just rotted all the way through. The cast iron is more than likely paper thin and at the end of its life expectancy. So we're going to continue to pull back. We did figure out where the line was running. We don't really need to mark too much because we know where this line goes. And it is cutting right through the center of the other house down below. Now we do have some ABS plastic. And this is up underneath the house, the front house. They performed some repairs. Hopefully we can see that as well up underneath the other house when we crawl underneath. And then we transition back to cast iron. That cast iron does appear to be split and cracked right here. It is definitely cracked. I'm going to pause for a moment. Okay, we're going to continue pulling back. We showed the home buyer, we showed Will the area, and that it's cracked pretty badly there. And the cast iron, again, like I said, is sure it's at the end of its life expectancy. You can see it's either got a whole lot of buildup here or just worn, really worn out. Can't tell on the bottom if that's cracked on the bottom. It may be very difficult to tell. You can see that same line that we saw in the other one. But up underneath the buildup, more than likely you've got a lot of cracking as well. We're going to continue pulling back. Now we transition what appears to be black ABS plastic again up underneath the house. And this is toward the back of the house now. So we've got some ABS plastic. I think some repairs, several repairs were made on this sewer line. And then again we come back to cast iron. So we have little bits and pieces here and there. And that's all we have. And we have the large offset. Very large offset in the vitreous clay. Vitreous clay, and then we transition back to ABS plastic again. And right here, we're just in the front yard of the back house. A little bit of debris on the camera lens again, unfortunately. We've seen all this area. We would recommend that the sewer line, and then we're back into cast iron again. We recommend that the sewer line be replaced, hopefully by a trenchless sewer line by means of pipe bursting. Coming out of our clean out up underneath the house. And we're going to move our equipment down below to the main house. Okay, we've moved our equipment. And we are at 236 Mount Washington Drive, Los Angeles, California. We're at the front house now, and this is the front yard area. And this is our 4-inch vitreous clay clean out. Now we're going to zero out our camera monitor and begin running through. We're going to insert our camera down into the vitreous clay line. Okay, now we're heading out toward the street. We've got an offset right here. Gonna have to try and wipe our camera lens off one more time. Trying to get over this offset.
This is bleach wipe behind us. I'll go through and wipe everything down.
does not want to let us get over that. There's a pretty good offset right there. I'm going to go ahead and tie a piece of twine on here and help us jump over that area. I'll pause for a moment. Okay, we've changed cameras and we've got a larger camera. We're going to try and jump over this offset. And again, this is 236.
236 is, yeah, not Washington.
Mount Washington Drive, Los Angeles, California. So we're going to go ahead and zero out our camera right here at the opening. We're going to try to get into our vitreous clay mainline sewer to clean up. There we go. Bounced up over it. And now we're heading down the line. We're heading out toward the city sewer. We've got some root intrusion right in front of us. This is just barely in the mainline clean out. We've got a fairly substantial break right here as well. Got a fairly substantial break, and this is in the grass right in front of the mainline clean out. That area is broken pretty badly. Continue to run down the line. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition from what we can see. A little bit of roots on the sides, a little tiny bit of roots. Another pretty good size offset right there. A little chip out of the pipe, nothing terrible. That clay is broken right there, right at the joint. Before we hit the joint, the clay is broken at about the 9 o'clock area. We have a a root intrusion off to the left at about the 9 o'clock area on this joint. A little tiny bit of an offset. There's some dings and divots out of the pipe. You can see chips. Appears that this piping has been hydrojetted at one time to clean it up. And that's pretty well chipped up too. That was a pretty good offset, and they chipped the pipe cleaning it. That joint's got some roots off to the right at about the 3 o'clock area, a little tiny bit. That's broken pretty badly right there. See, it's all cracked. Oh, this is broken. That piece is actually separated right there from the piping. And this right now is right near the retaining wall. I'll locate that on the way back. We're at 22 feet. We got a fairly substantial offset here, and it does look like we have another break right here off to the left. That piping is broken all the way from the 7 o'clock area to about the 11 o'clock area that I can see, and then we have root intrusion and a crack at the 3 o'clock area, and then going back around to about the 11 o'clock area. And then we have a fairly substantial break right here at 30 feet. There's about a 3-inch section right there that's completely cracked and broken. That section of piping appears to have a minor bit of root intrusion off to the left side at about the 8 o'clock area. That joint has some root intrusion at about the 9 o'clock area to about the 11 o'clock area. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. We can see there we got some root intrusion off to the left at about 8, 9 o'clock area to about the 11 o'clock area. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition at this time. More root intrusion at about the 4 o'clock area and the 8 to 9 o'clock area. We have more root intrusion at about the 8 o'clock area to the 9 o'clock area and going upward. And a little bit of an offset, not terrible. We got some more root intrusion at about the 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock area at this joint. And offset too as well. When we go in, you can't see the pipe. We're going to drop down into the pipe a little tiny bit, as you can see that drop. Has some more root intrusion at about the 9 o'clock area up to about the 11 o'clock area. Most of the joints are either broken or heavily root intruded. This piping has been hydrojetted at some time, I don't know when, but it's still in pretty poor condition. Got a fairly large offset, a little bit of root intrusion at about the 9 o'clock area, and it is offset. We're going to drop down into this pipe too, as you can see. More root intrusion here at about the 9 o'clock area and about the 4 o'clock area on the piping. Can't see exactly what the pipe looks like with the root intrusion in it. And we got larger root intrusion. Now we're making a drop and we have some very large root intrusion. We have root intrusion off to the left. It's substantial, but then we have very large root intrusion off to the right. I don't know if we're going to get through this. Okay, we were able to push through. kind of clouded up our camera monitor. We're just going to go out a little bit. I think we dropped into the city sewer. We do have water running. We didn't have anything running in the house. So more than likely that's our city sewer tie-in connection. We're going to pull back up and hopefully we can see. There we go. Now we're in the city sewer tie-in connection. We had to push in pretty quickly to get past that. So we do have very large root intrusion right at the saddle area. So with this saddle being as root intruded as it is, more than likely the saddle is going to have to be replaced. And you've got several root intrusions on the way back as well. So we're going to recommend replacing the lateral from the city sewer tie-in connection. You can see how heavy those roots are right there. More than likely that piping's damaged pretty badly. I'll pause for a moment.